Hey everybody, Yuki here with the Arctic Fox Productions channel. Welcome to Under the Fur. Okay guys, welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking all about lighting. The magical thing up in the sky to the little things inside your house. You go. So yes, today we're going to be doing an episode all about lighting. And we're going to talk about different types of lighting. So we're going to start on the cheap end and then go up and up and up. Okay, let's start on the cheap end first. If you want really good light for your short film, your video, your whatever, the sun is the best lighting you're going to get. Now then, there's golden hour, which is an hour like right after sun rises and an hour before it sets. It really comes down to about 30 minutes because when you start getting closer to the ends of those, it'll either start getting too dark or start getting too light in certain ways. But if you really want that nice golden hour, plan everything really in advance so everybody knows what to do. So when the day of shooting comes, you can do it without a hitch. So if you do have awkward shadows and you don't want that, say it's noon, or say just the lighting is kind of weird for whatever reason, you can use a sheet. You can use a sheet as a bounce. Now then, using a sheet as a bounce is basically saying, here comes the light, hits this is white, bounces off. You can use colored sheets, colored shirts, any kind of thing like that to adjust the light in certain ways. But if you go with just plain white, you're going to be getting just a nice little bounce. This bounce will kind of fill in those areas in the shadow and really help flatten the image. You'll get less depth because there'll be less contrast, but in certain cases that might be what you want. Okay, a more expensive option of a bounce is this. I got this at Best Buy. I think it was like $30. This is a bounce. Comes in a little pouch that you unzip, pull it out, and this is what it looks like. One side is going to be a much more flat white, but still kind of reflective as you can see. And then one side which is very reflective. So let's open this up. And you see we have this nice white side. You can see the light right there. That is from my light that's right there. And a light right there. If I flip it over, then you can really see them as I'm bouncing light around. This kind of light bounce is really nice because I can hold it. It's very light, flexible, and in certain cases with this side, you can actually shake it a little bit and you can get a nice water kind of effect. But you know, when you get one of these, you'll be able to know what it can and can't do, play around with it. Things that are like this, which are better than where the sheet go, better than the sheet, but still not expensive. One of these, you can use things like poster board. And there are certain kinds of foam board that has this kind of reflective side. Just check out your local hardware store and see if they have any. I don't have any, but I know they exist, I promise. One last thing about this, the way you fold these up. A lot of people have trouble with them. So you're gonna want one hand on top, one hand on bottom like this. You're gonna want to like turn it into a taco. And then twist it. So in one fluid motion, it kind of looks like this. That was a bad fluid motion, hold on. There you go, and close this up really nicely. There's plenty of things online about how to do this. With bigger things, it's a little bit more difficult, but if you can get that down, it's not that bad. Moving right along, let's get back to this sheet for diffusion. We also have a shower curtain. Once again, very cheap options here for diffusing light. Diffusing light is used if the light's too harsh and you want softer shadows. So if you use this, your shadows will get a lot softer, and the thickness of your material is basically what's going to dictate how much diffusion you're going to get. These are obviously not professional things, so they weren't made with that in mind. But if you hold up a sheet to the light or to the sun, then it will cause a great deal of diffusion. It'll actually make it kind of like shade, but not exactly shaded. So if you want less diffusion, go with the shower curtain. The shower curtain is much more see-through. So if you're shining a light through a shower curtain or through your sheet, you're going to get different amounts of diffusion. So let's talk about more professional diffusion now. For that, I'm going to switch to my T5 right here, so I can show you my setup right now. Okay, so here we are on my T5. You can see this. Let's show what's going on here. So we have this stand that leads up to this light, and this is a diffusion box. There's also one right here. So let's talk about it. A diffusion box has its light inside here, and this, let me just stick you in here right now. Very white. The lights are over here. I have some of them off, some of them on. Goes through this, which is just a white lining of a thing, which velcros on. Hold on. Which is velcros on right here on the side and underneath. Put the corner back on. And underneath. And what that does for us is creates a nice little set of diffusion for the light to hit your subject. Now then, going back to the sheet idea, if you have a sheet with a stand, then you can also use that for a portable way of setting up a sheet of any color really to be able to act as a diffuser or as a bounce. In a later video, I'll be making a DIY bounce using PVC and a sheet, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so next let's talk about just lighting in general. If you need certain lights, then that's also not a difficult thing. Take for example this. This is a clamp light. Clamp lights have a single bulb, and they have, believe it or not, a clamp. Now then, with this clamp, you can pretty much put it anywhere. So I can clamp it to my arm if I really need to. I can clamp it to a desk, a chair, a tripod, a light stand if I need extra light. I can pretty much do anything with this that I can just clamp it to whatever. Clamping it to your pets is not recommended. It's abuse. So the different kinds of lights you can use in this. I'm using fluorescent bulbs. These kind of fluorescent tube lighting is really nice because they come in a very wide variety of light, going from all the way down tungsten in the 3000 range, all the way up to the 5600 range with daylight. You just screw them in, plug them in, and turn it on. Now then, I'm going to put this right next to the camera and hopefully it'll pick it up. Fluorescent lights tend to hum. That could be because I have it hooked into a power strip right now, because I found when I was playing around with it earlier, for some reason at least, this power strip is causing my lights to hum like crazy. The way power strips work, if you don't know, it takes in a current from the wall and then it's dividing it up, so you get a power differential there. So if you can, try plugging in directly to the wall if you're going to use lights. Staying on the cheap end, let's switch back to this camera and I'll show you one more really cheap option that I'm sure you have in your own bedroom. If you don't, it's probably in your living room. Okay guys, this is a lamp. And this is a light. You can use lights and lamps very easily to light your scene. All it takes is the twist of a knob or a switch. You just flip a switch, twist a knob, and as you can see, this one is actually tungsten colored. My camera may or may not fix it with white balance, but point is, this is also another option that is very easy, and I've actually been using this as an option for a few years. Not this exact lamp, but lamps like it. Also, it should be noted that using a lamp like this in the scene is extremely helpful, and that's called a practical. Using practicals makes it so that you don't necessarily have to have tons of lights like this, because you have these scattered about your scene, creating that light that you want. There is a very important note here though. If you're going to use lamps like this, and lights like this is daylight, this is tungsten. So make sure you do your best to keep everything in the same color temperature range, and if you can't, do your best to get gels or some way of bouncing it to get them more closely aligned. Okay, that's going to be it for today. We've covered low-end lighting, high-end lighting, different ways you can use light, and soon I'll be coming out with a reel all about actually using these things like using the bounce, using diffusers, all these things to be able to do certain things with light that you might not have thought you could do. So stay tuned for that coming up in the next few days. Till then, my name has been Yuki. Thanks for watching.